What's up, YouTube and friends of Covalence? We have some exciting features coming in this video where we're going to explore how to implement password resets. Now, this functionality is going to extend upon the previous video a whole lot because we need to be able to utilize that verification of those temporary tokens. So if you haven't seen that video or any of the previous ones yet, we do have a link in the description to this playlist so you can see all of the previous ones. Also, be sure to subscribe to our channel so you can see all of these successive videos, including the ones where we will be implementing multi-factor authentication, which is a ton of fun. So, as I've denoted, we're going to be on a new branch here, reset, that's going to extend upon the magic link branch. So I do have it checked out and branched off of that. And server side, logic-wise, it's going to pretty much be the same thing, maybe with just another query param added to the URL. So it's really similar, thankfully speaking, to that logic, which means we can make it very nice and modularized. Client side, it'll be a little different. We can utilize that query param to maybe see if the URL includes that reset link. That way we could conditionally, show some kind of modal for a password reset form, or maybe we could just navigate to a reset page, something new altogether. But we'll figure out the client side when we get to it. Trial by fire, that's the way I like it. So let's go ahead and start working on the back-end logic. So for that, I might create, let's see, a reset.ts file, and I kind of want to follow the flow of the previous couple of verification ones. We have one route that's maybe a post request to issue the email first, and then we have like a secondary one that actually executes the reset. I suppose we probably should have the initial one execute a GET request, and then the secondary one to actually do the password reset should be a post request, since we're going to be sending some data in the request body. So let's go ahead and get everything started with that. All right, we're creating a new quick express router. And I meant to zoom in, not out. There we go. So we've got that linked up, and I'm just doing my kind of usual minimum viable product. So I'll go ahead and just define the router and export it so that way I can get it imported and linked up, and then I can forget about my routing index here. So import reset router from /reset. And here I'll do some Control-C, Control-D action to multi-replace magic with reset. There we go. Cool. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and get some templated out logic with this. And the more I think about this application, just with all the extra features that we've got kind of shimmed into this, I usually don't use controller patterns with my Express development, but it would fit really nicely in this project since I have so many reusable, little bits of pieces of my routes here. So like my magic link stuff, we'll still need that. Oh, you know what? No. We can still use the verification. So I had forgotten. It's been like a week since I last did any of this. So I thought that I was doing my validation for the magic links in its own separate file, and everything was kind of containerized there. But no, we are pointing to that same verification logic for the temporary token, which is great. So I effectively have this single unified controller. I just don't have it defined as an external controller. I'm just doing all of the business logic in line here. But we can do that conditional validation. So like I said, we're kind of shimming in a lot of authentication features in this small app. You might not want all of them. You might want all of them. You might want just some combination thereof, so it's totally up to you. But moving it to have a controller, architecture might flow a little better with your application. It really just depends. So with that being said, we're going to have the GET request trigger the password reset for a specific user. And so what I want to do is have the email be part of the query params here. So just kind of the style I've been flowing with this application, just using query params a lot. So if you have the login page, imagining kind of what the layout's like, you can start typing in an email, and maybe if the password field is left empty, but the email is not, we can use React to conditionally render like a forgot password link or a button, and that way we can have it execute upon clicking that execute this request. So Alright, and if for some reason the email is missing from the request query, we'll go ahead and send up 400 and say, just doing some very quick validation for this. We don't have to go like super crazy in depth with that, but just making sure that, I don't know, the one thing we actually require is actually defined here. That's pretty important for this. So we'll go ahead and we're going to generate one of those auth emails. So, I mean, it's kind of like the magic link email. It's basically the same exact thing, but instead of magic link, we want it to say like reset. So I kind of want to like modularize this because it's virtually the exact same structure, except we change the URL, the slug here, we change the type query param, we change the string itself for the link text itself to reflect that. We have the subject, and we have the sender reflect that all. So like it's something I think we could modularize out, but it's almost like I feel like the conditional logic for that would be more work than creating distinct, links. If you've got some good opinions on, which way I should do or should have done better, please let me know in the comments, because, I would love to hear any additional theories you got. But we'll go ahead and just make it its own distinct thing, I guess. I'm bike shedding, if you're not familiar with that term, it's like, hey, spending so much time focusing on this one very minute thing when we really could be spending time looking at other more in-depth features. But changing that to have reset in the URL path, we'll still have that temporary token, we'll still have the user's email get sent. Well, we will have reset be the type, and then I'm going to make the link text itself say password reset. And change the subject to password reset link. Like, it's hard because not all of them, I guess if I used everything like really consistently, I could have like one string variable, like an enum maybe, and everything could be like that string property underscore link. So I could have like this be slash reset underscore link, type would be string and string, and then instead of password reset, I could just have that read reset or magic, and that way that would be the same. And then if that read magic link, this could read reset link. And then if I change up the subject text to be like magic link and just reset link as well, we could modularize it that way. But like I said, I'm kind of bike shedding. I'm going to let everything be a little more customized, less dynamic for now. All right, so we call that send reset link. And in the event that we have, an email attempt fail, go ahead and send up. We'll send up just kind of a little quick 500 and say, hey, we've got some error, and we'll log it out. But here we can go ahead and we can import that from auth emails. So import from services / auth emails, boom, boom. That will be send reset link. So we have to pass in that email string. I believe that function returns a promise. It does. We don't really care about the result here, so we'll just await that. And I'll explicitly send a 200 status code here. And as always, if I'm not sending back like a raw array or object of data, I still like to send a message property. That way I can consistently, validate or at least use this to daisy chain like messages to the client. So message all right, so we say password reset sent, please check your inbox. So let's get the client side established. And yet again, looking at our verification route, all we really need to do is go through some of this logic. I guess it's kind of shoehorned here. Because in some of these, we are now that I look at that, I think I do want to make a distinct validation for that, because I feel like the magic link and the user account verification link are a little more tightly coupled in functionalities, whereas I feel like the password reset's more of a distinct functionality. So let's actually do some quick adjustments and handle that on this side. I do need to make a quick user password reset. And yet again, I am only using the email here as my where clause because I do have that marked as a unique column on my database. So I would probably recommend utilizing IDs here, but for convenience's sake, I'm just going to use the email, because otherwise we'll have to query the user by email and return the ID and then use that as a where clause for like a secondary query. Because I'm not sending the ID and the token, I'm just sending the email. But set password equal to question mark where, and boy, I'm gonna, my typing game is choking right now. I'm gonna end up having some kind of a syntax error with my SQL. Let me just verify. So update users, set password equal to question mark where email equals to question mark. We are passing in a password and email string. Cool. Okay. So we've exported reset password from our queries. And well, let's see. How about this? Because what I had tentatively planned out, what I've sometimes done, is upon the reset link being generated, we go through like the typical magic link login process where we get that token granted, and then client side I redirect them to a page, and they have a valid login token at that point. So I basically say like, hey, you're logged in, and I've conditionally like redirected you to the reset page, and we're just going to use your true like login token to authenticate you as that. And so that way, technically, as long as you're logged in, which I believe the token duration I have is like 30 days, you could reset your password. I could piggyback on this functionality. But, we'll keep it distinct. So, all right, so we'll have the email and the temp token here. So this is just our temporary token. And so that way, I mean, this kind of keeps it isolated to like video by video series. In case you're watching and just want to check out one branch and check out one video at a time, this kind of compartmentalizes that. I mean, really, in my own application, if I wanted to implement all of these from like the get-go, probably would architect stuff in a slightly different way, but I also like these kind of isolated videos. So let's go ahead and grab those, and then we'll do some quick validation here. I'm just going to validate if not email or not token. Oh wait, this is a post request, and I do need to send the password down that we're going to validate, so that'll be rec params, or rec body. So we'll check to see if not email or password or not token. All right. So just doing some quick validation there. And then here, we've got both of them, or sorry, all of the data that we need to do. So what we need to apply is the checks to validate that temporary token. So we're still dealing with like the short-lived 15-minute token with this. I'm not doing the workflow that I usually do, so we'll just go ahead and import our token utilities. I forget what I export out of there, so let's go pop back into that. Let me collapse my database folder because we are no longer using that. Let's go look at my token utilities. Let's see. So verify, cool. That's all I need to do. Oh, and we'll need to import sign as well to, generate our true login token. But right now we're just verifying the temp one. So I like to have some nice quality of life features. I will let my user reset their password, and we can do an automatic login upon that as well. It kind of depends. You might prefer to redirect your user back to the login page after successfully resetting their password, so that way they can try to redo it again, and that way if they like mistype their password when saving it, they can just reinitiate the lost password request. But I mean, hey, we're doing a reset password function, so even if they do break that, they can just, upon trying to log in the next time, go through the reset thing again. So I don't know, it's totally up to you. So I need to import verify and sign. Or I guess sign's not exported. Sorry, it's get login token that I've got exported. All right, so here, if we have a failure, it's going to be from me trying to verify the token. And so that's going to say, hey, can't be validated. What we could do is also fire off the reset link again, just in case for some reason it's expired. You know, that's probably the most common likelihood. Attempting to, reset your password with a 30-minute-old link can have it resend automatically. So yet again, kind of in the context of, hey, how can I, get some really good user experience going on? Well, automatic resending of invalid token stuff works out pretty nicely. So and I believe that the token itself, let me specify its return type. Let's see. I'm destructuring email out of the temp token, but I already have the rec.body defining this email constant here. So I'm going to alias email out to verified email. And really the only reason why we are sending email in the rec body is kind of a fallback. So in the event that the token is expired, we can just utilize that. So if I try to verify the token and it is expired or has a bad signature or whatever for some reason, it's going to throw an error. So we'll have scope of email within this catch block and can just resend that. And so we could also use like the token decode function within the error block as well. But like we're already going through like the, I don't know, verified. It seems kind of like an anti-pattern, a little bit clunky. So I'm like, we'll just take the, email, because if we fail in verifying the token and we just decode it, it could have failed for an invalid signature. So that's like an untrustable value, and so is this. So like we might as well just be like, yeah, whatever, we'll send it to the email that we have in the rec body already. So just kind of a convenience thing for us because it has the same bearing on like authentication wise. So c'est la vie. Anyway, we've got our email here. We can go ahead and take bcrypt and rehash and salt our password. I don't think I have a utility for that, so I'll have to pull in bcrypt manually. So let's go ahead and do just that. So we import bcrypt. We've got our email extracted from the token. Const hashed is equal to bcrypt, or await bcrypt dot hash. We'll put in the plain text password, and we'll tell it to go through. I'm just going to use 12 salting rounds here. After this, I need to import our users. Object from our database queries. So we'll go through users.reset password, hashed, and verified email. And so the actual post logic like itself isn't too bad. Like we're gonna send a post request. That temp token and email are coming from the URL. Like we already have that info in the context. This is just like something coming from an input, like a singular input. And so all we do is verify the token if it was signed by us and if it's in, a valid time range. If it's under that 15-minute mark, then, it won't throw an error, and therefore we're able to continue on to this next line. And so we can just use bcrypt to take that plain text password, rehash and salt that, and then we update that user. So the fallback stuff that I said I wanted to get into, I said, hey, we're basically copy pasting this, the sending of the reset link. So if an error happens, we'll try to send that reset link. And so if we do, let's see. If we do hit this, that means the verification failed. If we hit this, that means the reset link failed. So that would be kind of an interesting use case, but we'll still accommodate for that regardless. So we'll log that out. So in this case, this means that we had both the verification, aka they had a bad token fail, and the sending of the reset email also failed. So very weird kind of, edge case there, but we account for that and send up a proper response for that. Okay. But yeah, this should be enough to... we still need to send a response here, and I still need to generate the token. So const login token is equal to get login token. What does that require? The login payload, which I believe is just the email. The ID as well and the role. So I still do have to do that lookup. Oh, that's annoying. Why did I do that? Is there anywhere where I legitimately do use the ID? So verify. I only do that because we have to find the user, I believe, right? I guess we probably should attempt to find the user first in that case when we're resetting, before we attempt to update them. I mean, if we attempt to update like a user that doesn't exist, that's fine. That's not going to incur a database error. MySQL is just like, oh, you try to update user, 9,000 and you only have 5 users. Well, fine, I updated that. There just wasn't anything to update. But we'll go ahead and find the user, and then we'll go ahead and give a role property, which I said the login token requires. So I don't know why I threw on that extra context in previous videos, but that's what I have my true login token defined as. So we'll just roll with it. All right. So we'll send up that login token. So I think that covers everything we need. So a lot of this is pretty much the same like verification workflow, and just that we're getting the temporary token, and we have to verify that, make sure we were the ones who signed it. It's still in that valid 15-minute timestamp, and we do have our fallback code saying, hey, if for some reason this does fail, go ahead and resend it. And now that the backend is done, let's go work on some of the client-side stuff. So I will keep this open just to re-reference and make sure I'm sending all the data we need to do, but let's see. Let's get our application up and running first and foremost. Let's see. I've got a large swath of some angry stuff here. Do I have some missing state? Oh, there might be some state that I forgot to copy in, but I might have some merge conflicts to figure out after this video, so sorry in advance, y'all, if you're copying directly from this video. And let's see. Let's make variant a type of success or error, just to help prevent me from making some dumb mistake. Alright, so we're going to give that generic to our uState. I don't know why everything's kind of freaking out. Let me close out of that and reopen. It should be all good now. Okay. So that way, if I try to set alert to something, okay, or an empty string, I guess. We're using the alert text as like a short circuit. So like, whoops, I need to make that just a generic string. So if it's truthy, you know, that means we have some content, otherwise we don't. Okay. So this login page, we kind of have it being like our, you know, big old behemoth. It's gonna handle all of the workflow for us. So if I go to the login page, let me resize this real quick. I've got my old credentials pre-filled out, and what we can do is kind of like what we did with the magic link button. If we have the email but there is no password defined, it will let us have that magic link button pop in. I think it's kind of funny because I think I had Hunter 2 as predefined state, so I haven't had any like multi-factor authentication alerts go off for my Gmail account, but I'm sure some YouTubers at some point in time will try to log into my work email with that. Not like it would, you know, succeed or even get to the MFA stage, but I think it's kind of funny that I forgot that I had that in there. So go ahead and get that out, and I'll get that merged into main shortly. But I'll just basically do this. If we're not in registration mode, and if the email is defined, and if there is no password, I'm just going to hijack this button. Say send password reset link. So same thing. And you know, for each one of these buttons, I might give them a little bit of X margin. So there we go, a little more breathing room. But so this is going to initiate that password reset link. or it should once I have that event handler functioned. So, and it's going to be a lot of this, same overlap stuff. So, like I said, the cool part about this app is a lot of these features do have the same kind of general functionality. So we can kind of hijack other features. We can make some of these features maybe a little more dynamic. I could give the event.target. I could actually capture that and give each one of these buttons a name. And so I could use event.target.name to see if it's magic versus reset. And that way we could have the same function conditionally. Actually, let's do that. And I'm going to make their paths, their names, like their corresponding auth paths. So, or slash magic, and I believe that's slash generate. Okay, and reset's just a get requested reset. Let me just double check. So slash magic slash generate. It's a little weird, but hey, these kind of projects are fun, so we'll do that, and then we'll do slash reset. All right. So we'll actually capture the event here. What is the event? It's going to be a React mouse event on an HTML button element. That should be what Material UI is returning, is an HTML button element. So might call this handle send link, and now we can interpolate our name here. And so I don't know why my dev tools are so freaking sluggish here, but we'll interpolate the event.target.name. Let me actually get rid of the preceding slash and the names down here. And then quick fix. It's not going to do it. Okay. I'll just fix that to handle send link manually and handle send link manually. Oh. I'm thinking of inputs here. Let's see. I could make like a... I don't know, an extended type. And that's getting kind of ugly for me to just do some lazy code. So let's do this. Call handle send link. We'll create that same unified thing, and we will just send the URL as the path. And yet again, I know with this we're kind of shimming a lot of functionality on like the same pages and everything, but that's what we're gonna roll with. So this handle send link function is now just receiving a path as a string argument. All right, so we're sending magic slash generate and reset slash magic slash generate slash reset. So we've got that, and we should have, let's see, get request here. So it's going to be a get request regardless. That's also why I wanted to use the query params, is so we could send that extra context. But we do have everything normally required by the magic link, so we haven't altered that functionality, and we also have it now hitting this up. So we should now be able to let's see, have that hit everything up. I don't know why I was doing like the browser alert here when I've got that alert modal. Yet again, like I said, I think I might have just forgotten to commit some code before like merging branches. So I might end up having like a merge conflict to straighten out. So sorry if you were trying to clone along like immediately. But the variant, we'll see if res is okay. If it is, success, else error. Whoops. There we go. I don't know why VS Code is so sluggish. I think Material UI is bogging stuff down. Ugh, and that's not, or it's text. There we go. But yeah, it's killing my TypeScript functionality. Okay, so now we'll be able to initialize that link. So let me refresh. If I type in a password here, it's going to direct me to just using login. But if we don't have a password, it allows us to send a magic link or send a reset link. Password reset sent. Please check your inbox. Close out of that. Get the password reset link. So my text sucks, but whatever. It's directing us to a reset page, which we don't have yet. So we can go ahead and set up React Router DOM to handle that. So the verify page, we could have this also redirect there. But since we decided that we're going to kind of make everything distinct, let's do something different. I kind of like the UI here. So I'm going to make a reset page with just that form. So let me just copy all of this. Alright, so we'll go ahead and export default, reset password. So we got a lot of missing properties from MUI. So let's go ahead and grab these components. Grod. Let's see, grid, typography, text field, switch, alert, button. I think that should be mostly everything. I need some state, so let's see. And we'll also be landing on the page, and we'll need some React Router DOM hook action. So we'll go ahead and import our use effect here, and we'll go ahead and import React Router DOM shortly. For now, let me copy in my handle dismiss toast and my set alert state. And I guess I can move my iAlert into my interfaces since I'm going to repeat that logic. So let's go to my types. Then we'll import iAlert. And here we will also import iAlert from our types. Moving my hooks up to the top, just stylistic preference. We'll need a password piece of state. So that's just going to be a singular string. Excuse me. Okay. Let's see. We don't need the checkbox actually, so I can remove that switch import. We don't need to toggle between states. Text field, we don't need that. We just need our email. Let's see, we don't need this or that. We just need this one button, or a button. So let me get rid of the conditional ones. All right, we'll have a function handle reset. So we'll make a fetch request to auth/reset. We'll have the query params including, let's see. Oh, and now that I've got that exported, I'm not going to the verify page. We are going to the reset password page. So really, all I did was copy paste the verify like form UI just because I liked how it looked. All right, so server side, what do we need in our query params? Nothing, since actually everything is getting compartmentalized into the body. So we'll need to extract the token from our use effect when we land on the page and save it as state, so that way we can reference it in our function handler here. So all right, so it's going to be a post request, so we have to define that it's a post method. We have to apply our headers saying what type of data is incoming to our server. So we'll say content type is application/JSON, and the data we're sending, the body we're sending, is an object with the email, token, and password properties. So password is state that we'll be, working on with the input. Token and email are going to be coming from the query params when we land on the page. So we'll get that set up here. Alright, so we'll go ahead and await fetch. We'll encapsulate everything in a try catch just in the event there's some kind of weird networking error, which, hey, if you have my ISP, it's very likely, because I was having a handful of issues earlier today with just intermittent outages for a few seconds for like a 10-minute span, which was kind of annoying. But let's see. Let me grab from my verify page just the same like alert. Or sorry, from the login page, the same like, oh, we're not even alerting that. Never mind. Alright, well, whatever. I'll do this. Alright, so if we can send all of that data to the server and it gets validated and everything is good, we'll echo back, hey, everything went through successfully, or hey, everything, broke, it's catastrophic. And if the data has a .token property, we can call local storage .set item token data.token. And that's going to be like our long-term solution. So whatever we have defined, let's see, here in our login, yeah, we've got the exact same workflow here. So if we send that login token, we go ahead and store it, because on the password reset, we're just, I don't know, treating our users well, I guess. And here we could use like the use navigate hook to navigate back to that home page or the success page or whatever. And I'll do just kind of a quick and dirty console error here. But that should be most of what we need to get this going. The final thing is extracting from the URL our query params. So oh, use location. I was like, wait a sec. Let's see, a location.search. It's going to return an object with all of our query params. So we'll have email and token there. I'll alias out to QP email. Excuse me, sorry, my allergies are killing me, y'all. Oh, crud. And for actually searching query params, so previously I was just kind of like throwing everything down to the server, which was really convenient, because otherwise I have to create like a new URL params object and extract everything out. That's kind of ugly. Actually, let's do a little modification to our post request. So we'll still send like the password and the rec body, but we'll send the email and the token, all of the query params, and the URL itself. So password comes from the rec body, and then that comes from the query params. There we go. So we get some lazy code client side. And it's all the same to our server anyway. And so we'll just concatenate to the end of reset all of our query params with loc.search. No, I actually don't need that state. And we're just sending that in the rec body. Cool. So that cleans up our code pretty nicely. Yet again, don't know why it's being so finicky, but my token is probably expired by now. Let's see. Let me refresh and check. 12 minutes. Oh, that actually is still valid. Okay, that's a Lamau, all caps, 4 Y's. A, Y, 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 or actually, whatever. I'll just change it to wow, no caps. Let's see, my message property was undefined because I'm not sending one when I log in. Whoops. But I should have a true login token here. So let's extract this out. Go to jwt.io. And that should be, let's see, issued at today at 2:26 p.m. So cool. That went through successfully. Final feature is maybe making that UI UX a little bit better. So I probably want to send a message property. I harp on all the time about how I'm consistent, but you know, joke's on me because I didn't do that for the successful reset. So if we come down to here, we send up the login token. That way we have a nice little message at the very least. And then what is the type error here? Nothing. I think it's material UI. Like I don't know what. Oh, I had a type that I guess I didn't import. There we go. So, go ahead, we'll set up that nice little pop-up alert, and we can do like a set timeout and then navigate to like the success page. So, let's see. What do I do for login? Do I do any navigation? I do navigate to the home page. What's the home page? Oh, cool. So let me pull in use navigate as well. All right. So that's kind of the last little bits of the UI UX polish. So TLDR client side is I've got this reset password page. I copied the styling from my login, so maybe I could like make this an input or a form component for inputs just to kind of standardize that. But all it does is it stores the password piece of state and the alert state if we want or need to use that. For the input, it also has a button corresponding with it that when clicked fires this. We go ahead and make a post request to our server for our auth reset post request with the email and token and our query params there, our temp token that is, and then we send in the body that plain text new password, and depending on the response it's going to be an error or success message. And if we send up a token, we'll go ahead and set that token to local storage. So that way our users are logged in, and then we navigate to the home page after a little bit. Server side, a lot of that functionality follows like the magic link where we have a GET request to kind of generate it and initiate that request. And then we have our validation. And this, I'm glad I did move this over into this file instead of trying to like shim all of our features together, because we've got to go through additional checks here. You know, we have to hash and salt a password, which that kind of feels weird going with like magic link stuff. That's too many, bits and pieces together that don't really match up. But we go ahead, verify the token. If that temp token is verified, we hash and salt the password, go ahead and update that user, and then we go ahead and get them a login token. So we've got a lot of moving pieces all at once. And kind of like with the other functionalities, If for some reason verification fails, we have the nice quality of life feature of sending that reset link back again. So technically, if I go back to my email, let's see, this link is old. Let's see, if I go to my inbox, password reset, it's the only thing in there. Text is garbage. We could probably fix that a little bit. But I click this, it's expired. And crud. So we're only doing the validation when I actually like post, so it's going to bounce that back and it should automatically resend it. So I could do some fixes client side, like I could have it immediately validate, but that would mean like 2 separate validation routes, so I don't know. But this is a valid link now, that's not expired. And if I had more time, you know, I would definitely go explore those features, but this is already an hour long and I don't want to, you know, make your ears all fall off, so. And just to, you know, verify that it's actually resetting the password, we can look at the hash. So we'll say select password from users where ID equals 3. That's my user account. So we'll note that the hash is ending in ERY21. We hit reset, successfully reset password in 5 seconds. It's going to navigate us back to the home page. And we can rerun this and see it ends in something completely different. So it is for sure doing all the validation and actually doing it. So like I said, that's, you know, a lot of different moving pieces, but it's really, really cool functionality. So if you do want to continue to see the rest of the series, where our next 2 videos are going to be much, much shorter and they deal with multi-factor authentication, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to our channel, and check out the other videos in this playlist so you can get some more great content. But until then, I'll see you guys later.